Welcome to the Profitable Painter Podcast, the show where painting contractors learn how to boost profits, cut taxes, and build a business that works for them. And I'm your host, Daniel Honan, CPA and former painting business owner, and your guide to mastering your numbers that drive success. So let's dive in and make your business more profitable one episode at a time. I'm super excited today. I'm going to talk to Zach Guthrie out of New York. Super excited. Welcome to the podcast, Zach. How's it going?
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, happy to be here. It's going real good.
Awesome. So, could you kind of just give us your journey in the painting industry? Like, how did you get started? What are some major milestones that you've seen since you've been running your painting business?
Yeah, definitely. So I have been in business going on 6 years. It was a start like most, started working at a painting company. It was actually a buddy of mine. And I just saw the opportunity in the industry. It really stuck out to me, the market share that was available in this industry, and I knew I could make a difference here.
Okay. So you got started about 6 years ago with a friend, and then you kind of got you like, hey, I could probably do this on my own. What made you make that jump? Because for a lot of folks, that's kind of a big jump to, working for somebody else to, hey, I'm going to do this on my own.
Definitely. And I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I was into business before this, just in different industries. And when I started working with my buddy, it was a friend of mine just looking for some extra work. I enjoyed doing it. I saw the opportunity. I wanted to continue to build with him, obviously. I just went in the direction of going on my own and doing it that way, which I am happy I did so.
Yeah. And I know starting up your own business, especially painting business, can be very difficult. What sort of challenges did you face in the first, year or two?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the one thing about running a business, and especially a painting business, is it's always putting out fires, and the beginning fires are obviously the harder ones. You're just learning. And luckily we've been able to learn from those and adapt. Some of the earlier stage ones, I would say s- basics setting up things, getting the LLC started, waiting on all that to come back. Um, Manpower. I started off by myself doing the painting myself, keeping track of the books, taxes, all of the important stuff. Then getting into more different types of insurances. It was a lot in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, you're wearing all the hats. It's like you got to be the finance person, you got to be the operations person, you got to be the marketing person, you got to do everything, and it's super tough, especially in that 0 to 350 range. Um,
Yes.
so in a lot of like very successful entrepreneurs, it's you mentioned manpower, and that's the the key to really grow your business is to get other folks to buy in with your vision and to help you get to the next level. So how did you crack that nut? Like what did you learn about finding, recruiting and hiring good people and getting them into your organization?
So for in the beginning stages when we were learning about the culture, it was the same as what you were mentioning. I was like, what's the difference between the culture of this company and this company? And really trying to dial in what that meant to me was just the little things. Our Sherwin rep last year, they gave us tickets to an NHL game, and we were able to take our guys to that, build the camaraderie between the guys, taking breaks together, having annual parties, hosting those and just really looking out for each other. If I could tell someone's down or something, I'm asking them questions. You could tell that they really care to look out for each other, and it's more family oriented, which when we have new guys come in, they want to be a part of that.
Hmm. No, that's great. Like building that camaraderie and being like a close as much of a close knit organization as possible. It can have like massive impact on the organization. Plus, the a bonus there is that those events that you mentioned, a lot of them can be tax deductions. Like if you
Yes.
have a regular annual company event where your team comes, you're maybe doing barbecue, you're going through goals, you pay for everyone's food. It doesn't have to be, at a fancy hotel or anything. It could be literally in your backyard, but you could still deduct all the costs of the paying for everything. So like building that culture, but also getting tax deductions through that. That's like a big thing that I think a lot of folks don't realize. Like they can use those events to make their business uh, better, have some fun, build some relationships with your team, but also lower your taxes.
Definitely. And just to touch on that a bit, we also like to recognize accomplishments with our guys. If we notice one of our guys is going above and beyond, we'll say, hey, so and so's lunch is getting paid for today, and usually they'll request like a whole pizza so that they could all eat, but we like to recognize individual and that just points on the camaraderie right there. They're always looking out for each other. It's really nice to see, and I could see why they like to buy into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What sort of results have you? Because I'm sure this was like a learning process for you, and it always is for everyone. But like, what results have you seen since you've been kind of focused on the culture and building that camaraderie on your team? Could you kind of highlight like what was it like before on your team, and then what is it like now when you're more focused on it?
Yes. So it was definitely a revolving door before we started implementing some of those culture vibes with our company. It was a lot of hiring, firing, or hiring and them quitting, going to the next place. A lot of they would leave for $1 raise, uh, whereas opposed to now it's people stay because they see the value in staying here, as opposed to someone who's just trying to pick them up quickly. Not saying that that happens all the time, but it's just little things like that that I could see a change in terms of people sticking around for longer periods of time, um, and wanting to stick around for different reasons other than monetary.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, getting reducing your employee churn. I mean, it's so expensive to bring on a new person, get them trained up, like spend your time to teach them how to do all these things, and then for them to leave like 6 months or a year later, that's a huge expense. So
Yes.
just by investing some time into building camaraderie, having those events that you mentioned, and having them stay for like 2, 3, 4+ years, I mean that's money in your pocket. I mean, so I think that's yeah, you're spending money on the events, but that's money well invested because you get a tax deduction like we talked about, but two, they're gonna stick around longer because they feel like they're like an actual person that's connected with in the organization and they're needed, and it's not all about the money. It's not just like you said, it's not just about the check. It's about the relationships that they have with the rest of the people on the team. So, it's that extra piece that's going to keep them around for longer. So I think that's super powerful. So that it sounds like you really got that going in your company, which is awesome.
Yeah, and what was really important to us in starting the culture was keeping guys for a longer period of time helps us in the sense of when we're teaching them new things um, in the field, those things that they learn are mistakes that they are now not making anymore. You see what I'm saying? So when we hire a new guy, we have to teach them why this doesn't work, why that doesn't work. And now it's one time being taught, they learn it. When we have to keep reteaching new people, it slows down production immensely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, gaining efficiencies with the same team, they know how to do the job. That gross profit probably starts increasing. Did you notice that? Did you notice like an increase in gross profit, like from when your culture was not as good to what it is now, where you have a close-knit team that with the
100%.
camaraderie? Yeah.
100%, and that's what I was trying to get at. What I was just mentioning is is the efficiency is just on a different level when it's guys who've been here for longer as opposed to training new guys and having to teach them from those simple mistakes that we taught our initial guys.
That's awesome. Cool. What's do you how many crews are you running right now?
So right now we're running two crews,
Mhm.
two 3-man crews. We usually amp up larger than that during our summer season when we implement exteriors. We're in Buffalo, New York, so during winter
Yeah.
months we're interior only. This
Yeah.
year, we have had a later start to the season. We had a lot of rain in spring and a lot of low temps. So we were just breaking 50s like a week or two ago, and we're still kind of fluctuating. So it's been a late start to the season. Usually at our peak, the season, we're at around 10 to 12 guys, and then we slim down for the winter time.
hmm And do you notice, and I'm assuming the folks that you bring in for seasonal work, are they typically folks that are new to the organization, like they, or do you actually have some seasonal workers that come every season? They just don't only want to work during the summer and then they're gone in the winter.
So it's mostly new guys, but we do have a couple that are from previous seasons and whatnot.
Okay, cool. So your core, the two crews that you have, the six guys that you have, they're kind of your core team, and they've been around for a
Right.
while. Um, so do you notice a difference in like gross profit for those two teams versus the ones that come in that are only there for a few months out of the year?
So when we bring in the couple new guys, we always put them on with
Mm.
those guys that are part of that main couple crews. So there's
Okay,
always original guys with all of our guys. And
gotcha.
then we also as the season goes on or as our schedule gets extremely busy, we have a couple companies that we subcontract work to as well. So we're kind of hybrid, but more so W-2.
Gotcha. So those six guys, you kind of split them out into team lead or crew leads when the summer comes, so that you have kind of like your core team still present in all of the crews. It sounds like.
Right. Yep.
Eh, Okay, cool. No, that's good stuff. So we talked about getting, finding, getting, and keeping great people in your organization. That's like a big thing for growing, from zero to a million and beyond is getting those people in the door that are going to stay with you and keep that good culture. Um, the other things you kind of mentioned as challenges, at least in the beginning, was wearing all the hats, like doing all the legal and financial piece, like keeping track of the books, setting up the LLC. Um, what have you found that really works for your business and that kind of finance component?
Yeah. So now we're in the process of adding sales reps. I'm kind of starting to take off the hats, which
Hmm.
is really helping. We have project manager, paint foreman, all down the line in like a hierarchy structure that is allowing me to put that trust in individuals to allow us to grow, which has hindered our growth in the past, me trying to do everything. So with that in place, with us moving into our larger office now, we're starting to add admin staff, sales reps, get all those positions rolling. That will allow me to focus on what I should be as an owner.
So right now, it sounds like you have a project manager. And do you actually have the salesperson in place now, or are you right now looking for a salesperson?
So right now we're currently looking for a sales rep. I'm doing all the sales myself. I'm realizing I'm at capacity at close to $1 million in sales annually, where I could keep quality up in terms of going on estimates, follow-ups, and getting these quotes to our customers in a timely fashion. So we want to add another sales rep and continue to add as we grow.
Hmm.
Uh, we definitely have the capability to add. Um, I'm not able to get to all of our customers, so there's definitely something we're leaving on the table.
Yeah. And you mentioned admin. Do you also have an office admin as well in addition to a project manager?
Correct.
Okay. So you have your office admin, you have your production manager, and then you're doing all the sales and looking to hire a salesperson so that you can just focus on managing the business, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, cool. Um, so this is a common a common jump to make is a lot of painting business owners are in the same situation where they have a production manager, they have an admin team, and they want to get out of the sales so they can kind of lead the business, and then that can from that point really it's just you can hit 3+ million once you're out of that sales role. Um, how did you let's talk about the production manager. That's a pretty key role, and I know a lot of folks are trying to get to that role. How did you end up finding the right person to be the production manager, and what is like the scope of their role? Like, what are they actually doing? Because production managers can kind of have different roles, and how do you have them set up, and how did you actually successfully fill that role?
Yeah, so this was a role that we've tried to fill a couple times in the past. Uh, we tried, I always like to promote within. We tried moving painters up to that role in the past, but we've quickly learned that they're the best painter because that's their skill is being a painter. That's when we started listing different types of job ads, looking for those specific positions. And we ended up finding someone who has done this type of work in the past, and they've been succeeding in that role better than anyone else has with us trying to promote within.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think a lot of folks, myself included, when you have a technician that's really good at whatever they do, you want to like, oh, I'm going to put them in charge of that thing now. But then you're taking them out of the thing that they're really good at. And sometimes I don't even want to, they like doing the thing that they're really good at because they're super good at it. And yeah, it's a tricky thing. It seems logical to put them in charge, but sometimes it might not make sense. So you actually just went and looked for somebody that's done it before, done project management before, and just basically said, "Hey, can you do that for me?" Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. We
Yeah.
hired a project manager that was from has experience in project management, and hired them for our company. And we still wanted to give our painters the opportunity to be able to grow. So that's why we have project managers and then foremans as well. And that foreman role is more suitable for a painter that goes above and beyond
Mm,
because we make sure that they're pretty much our painting foremans. They're there to answer questions for the other painters, lead by example, and then our PMs are the ones who deal directly with customers, collect payments, and handle any issues we might have.
gotcha. What's the because you have an office person, and a lot of times people kind of blend like what the office person does and what the project manager does. Like, where's the handoff that you found that works for your company? Like, is it at the point at which the colors are like the office person helps with the onboarding and gets the colors and then hands it off to the production manager, or is it at some other point?
So right now, our admin, and we might change this as we add more sales reps, but what's been working for us with me doing the sales is our admin answers the phone, makes the schedule, uh, onboards our clients in terms of estimates. Then it gets handed off to the project manager once the project is booked. Our admin staff also double checks payroll, all that internal admin stuff.
Gotcha. So as soon as the project's booked, the project managers making sure the colors are good
Yep,
to go. They order the
right.
paints and all that.
Communication with the customer transfers over to the PM as well. In terms of paint color choice, making sure the crews have the paint ready for the jobs, making sure the vans are in order, the office is in order, the shop, we have a shop that's connected to our office, making sure that that's in order and everything's running smooth. they oversee all production. I oversee all sales, and our admin kind of handles all the paperwork and all the in between.
Okay. So it sounds like the handoff is really going to be between the salesperson and the production manager. That's like salesperson gets it closed and then hands it off to the production manager to take it from there.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. And if there's any questions in between, the PM or myself will touch base with the admin. Hey, did you see something about this customer? Did they call in to change this date? We all kind of work in unison.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, so you figured out the best way for your organization is to actually find people who have done project management before and get them to do it for your company. Uh, it actually makes a lot of sense, and a lot of folks that have found that to be true as well. Like, just people have done, you're not a unique painting business. There's plenty of painting businesses out there or similarly related trades, and all of them have project managers. Just get one of those people to come work for you, instead of trying to like find someone in your organization that has never done it and it can work if you have the right person, the right type of
Right.
person and everything, but it can be a big learning curve. So it's kind of them, their capabilities, but it might be a big learning curve for them. So it's kind of you know, a trade-off a little bit there. But okay, great. Are you going to apply that same strategy to the salesperson? Or are you just looking for a salesperson to basically come work for you, or how are you approaching that?
So we're definitely hiring the sales rep that has sales experience. Doesn't necessarily have to be painting sales experience, but we're definitely making sure that they have a sales background with proven experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what sort of compensation structures? That's like always a big question is like compensation structures. How do I compensate my production manager, or how do I compensate my salesperson? Have you found anything that works well with your project manager?
Yeah, so with the PMs, we offer a base salary with a commission based on production times. So we have a formula set in place that if crews finish the 1 day, 2 days before their allotted time, then the PM gets a commission.
Okay. So if the crews are being efficient, the project manager gets an additional commission on top of their base salary.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Um, And then are you trying to do sales compensation similar, like tied to sort of that efficiency gross profit as well? Or what are you thinking for the salesperson compensation?
For the sales, we've been messing around with a 45,000 base with a 3% commission on all sales.
Okay. So 40, and what do you like a salesperson? I know obviously you're closing about 1 million yourself, but you're doing everything else. Are you kind of expecting a 1.5 million for a salesperson to close like a good one?
Right. Yep. And we're also just to add a little more background on that structure. We the 3% we do plan to pay in the check that's right after when the customer makes the deposit. So if they book the job, customer pays deposit, that 3%'s in their check the next pay period.
Nice. Okay. So you're making sure you get that cash because that's a big thing with having a team is you got to have the cash to pay them, making sure that you have that deposit. Taking how much of a deposit do you take?
Oh, cash flow is huge, and it was actually it was one of those seminars where you did a speaking on, and everything you spoke about with the cash flow of things, it just hit it on point. I mean, you could have a successful business, but if the cash flow is not there, it's very damaging to a business.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, how much of a deposit are you taking?
Oh, we're taking 30%. Some we take
Okay.
35%.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so that easily covers your labor, and you're marking a part of it, it sounds like for your salesperson, which is great because then you have that already set aside. So that's awesome. And
Right.
your $45,000 base salary, which is if they do 1.5 million in revenue, that's about 3% as stated as a percentage, 3% of the revenue. Then on top of that, they get a 3% commission as well. So that's about 6%. Assuming they hit 1.5 million in sales, that would be about
Right.
6% of revenue going to them, which that sounds like a really good compensation package. That's very in line with what I typically see across different painting businesses. Um, so that looks like a really good compensation structure. Um, the I know one of the big challenges that some folks come into contact with is, you have your production manager who is, in this case, you're compensating him based off of efficiency of your crews. And then you have your salesperson who's actually giving the bid. They're giving the price, the customer. Um, and I know you haven't you might kind of have this issue now because you're the salesperson, but how do you guys address like the situation where the salesperson may have underbid the job and then the production manager is potentially penalized for
Right.
having low not much budget available and therefore doesn't get a bonus.
Right. So right now, with me doing it, it's a little easier for me to avoid that because I'm the one doing it. Obviously, mistakes happen. I've had situations where I've underbidded jobs. It happens. We're transparent with our customers. Usually, when it's underbidded, it's usually because of something that was unforeseen or the project just ended up being more difficult than what meets the eye. And my customers are usually understanding in that fact, and we're able to work something out where we can retain a little bit more to cover that. Anytime I add a change order, I I'm always fair about it. I always like to tell my customer, hey, we're not trying to, kill you on this. We just want to make ends meet for that change order portion of the project. But for when a sales rep comes in place, we have a structure. It's an estimate guide sheet where they're going to be able to go through all this to make sure that they're not underbidding based on measurements and visual items.
Yep, that makes sense. I know that's good because that can be definitely, I'm glad you're thinking about it because like that can be definitely a friction point between the production manager and the salesperson. If you don't mitigate it right, you might have some issues there. I know some painting businesses have actually also commissioned the salesperson based off of the efficiency of the project too. So that therefore not only the project manager but also the salesperson are bonus off of gross profit or some metric, efficiency metric, so that they're all both on the same page and working towards the same goal. Because the salesperson's goal, typically is to book as much as they can. But if you can also throw in like, but it also has to be profitable, that can help align the incentives of the salesperson and the production manager, and so that they're more working together instead of working against each other. Um, like I know, for example, Jason Paris painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jason, was talking to him about how he compensates his salesperson and his production manager. And he was saying that basically it's two factors. Like you have your customer satisfaction metric, which can be like Google reviews or a net promoter score, and then also an efficiency metric like gross profit or time on the job, like budgeted hours. And those two numbers, the salesperson and the production manager are bonused off of those two numbers. So both the sales and production manager, so that they're both kind of moving the same direction to ensure that one, they're getting a Google review or getting a happy customer, and then two, it's a profitable project.
Yeah, and that makes a ton of sense. And uh, hopefully we don't run into that issue where we have the friction between the sales and the PM. But it's definitely something we're going to have to look into if that friction does appear. And I appreciate that insight because that will really help us when that time comes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think well, you've been super generous with your time, Zach. I mean, I love what you're doing over there in Buffalo, New York. Wouldn't want to live in Buffalo, New York. A little bit too cold for me. I'm in Orlando, Florida, but I'm
Right.
loving what you're doing there. Sounds like you have an outstanding culture that's bringing in the right people, and I like the way you think about getting the folks that have done the thing before, just have them do it for me. So I'm super excited for the future of your company. And do you have any last thoughts for the audience or anything before I let you go today?
Yeah, just anyone that's listening that owns a painting business, just understand it, as hard as it may be, there's always light at the tunnel. And as cliche as that sounds, I know how it is. We all struggle here and there. Keep pushing along because there's a lot to be rewarded in this industry. A lot of great people. Looking forward to seeing you at the upcoming events. Always have a great time with you, Daniel. So. Looking forward to see you and Cody up
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, Zach. It was good talking to you. And for the listeners, we will see you next week.